Join me in welcoming Miss Tina Mak.
Hi as well. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Well, I'm short, so I better just stand up here instead of standing there. You won't be able to see me. Good morning, and I'm very honored to be back. And the first time I came here was 2 years ago. And thank you to our beautiful presidents, Betty, invited me back and to speak to all of you. And all of you are excellent, like very experienced agents, so I don't really need to tell you or teach you how to, do your business at all. I'm just going to share a little bit of, my Chinese things with you all. And how many of you, or how many areas that really experience a lot of Chinese buying? It's quite a few. And what area? Is it mainly like California, Seattle, Orange County? Yeah. How many of you really experience like smooth negotiation? One hand. Now that is, I don't know, is that a lady? Okay, now that makes the difference. How many of you know the differences between Hong Kong Chinese, Taiwanese Chinese, and mainland Chinese, the difference of, the hands, there's only a couple of them over there. Okay, today I'm going to just share with you, I have repeated the audience, so I always trying to have different informations as much as I can, so that, whoever has heard me before then won't fall asleep. So today I would like to talk about the negotiations that we like. It's not that we like, but it's just how it goes, right? Now, a lot of us that when we do business, we want to just yak first. We don't really care about the business. And I know that for them to come here usually is about 10 days to 2 weeks. Is that the same as you? Okay, and then all of us that would like to make a deal within that 10 days to 2 weeks times, or else your deal might be gone. However, when Chinese, they do their business, it's not just Chinese things. I believe this is a lot of Asian. How we do is that we drink, we just yak, and then it's like what they call is like lollygagging. You yak for nothing, and 90% of the time you just drink, and then until you kind of like, okay, am I drunk now? Then they start talking about business. Yeah, they want to be friends with you first. They really don't want to just, immediately sit down and talk about the deals. As much as we would like to close the deal, the sooner the better. But they always do that in the last minutes of their trip. Now, there's a difference: principal residence versus revenue property. Now, how many of you dealing with mostly dealing with people who wants to buy for themselves, like principal residence and revenue property? Not too many. Okay. Principal residence. They look for beautiful view, okay, and then they look for good school, and they also look for, in California probably it's like celebrities' houses, because to them is something they always love to come to Canada. Well, Canada is a stepping stone, in my opinion. I'm from Canada, and what I find is that it's very difficult to come to U.S. For the immigration thing, so they would kind of use Canada as a stepping stone, okay? And then when the kids, they grow up and finish their high school, they always send their children to U.S. And that's why they look for principal residence most of the time. Again, I put down here as good school, and then owned by celebrities or famous people. And waterfront property, as Betty mentions, that many of them, they're very, very interested in just view property. When it comes to revenue property, if your numbers is quick, you've got to be really quick to do your numbers, the ROI, the return on investment, and they will walk away just because it's a couple $1,000s. Actually, as principal residents, during the negotiations, they would do that too. Now, how many of you lose the deal because of a fractions of your purchase price, like a few $1,000s to just a fractions? How many of you have experienced that? Yeah. I'm currently working on something like that. They will walk away because of $2,000. Not that they cannot afford to buy that property with extra $2,000 because they will buy the Chanel bags for their children, but then to them is that I don't feel like it. Okay, it's the face things. You said you cannot afford to, give me another $2,000 discount. I walk. There's no emotional thing sometimes. So when it comes to revenue property, they're very much into, the numbers. The principal resident, obviously, I like it. You cannot buy this property because of the view. Yeah, sometimes they go for it. And so when it comes to revenue properties, they always do their maths. And also, very often, because they have different currency, so the way you look at it maybe is $2,000, but then the way they look at it is not the same amount. It's depending on the currency exchanged that day, and then how, or not, even if not that day, but a week later or a month later when they have to, wire the money over, and then what is the currency. And how many of you have, like a collapse deal towards the end of the deal because of that? Not yet? How many of you have experienced that you cannot find the buyer? Right? That's what happened. They cannot find the buyer. The agent will tell you, I just cannot find them. So you have to collect the deals, Sometimes that is the problem. The reason why also is a lot of us, not all of us, but there are percentage of agents when they work with Chinese clients. A lot of the time they ask for 50% kickback. Now, I had conversations with some of you last night. How many of you have experienced that? It's 50% kickback that they want. And we don't do that here. We maximum will give them 25%, but 25% is between the agents, or maybe 30 or maybe maximum 35%, but they want 50%. A lot of the time is because they work with a group of people like travel agency or a law firm and the immigration's law firm. So they have to pay them. So in order to make the deal worthwhile for them to come to do that, and then they will do it. Now, I'm not too sure about in your area, but in my area, some of the agents, they will just let the buyers to go out and work with the listing agents, and then at the end of the day, they will say, okay, I want to write an offer on this one. Then they just get the agents to come and write the offer and do that 50% kickback. So that happens in my area. We experience a lot of different crazy things. So I'm not too sure about all of you, but we do experience a lot of different things. And okay, the currency exchange, and then when it comes to numbers, so obviously it's like Imperial, we use these square feet, they use the square meter. So whatever your square feet is, you have to divide by 10.764 to make it so that they will understand how big the place is. And then the next things. Now, talk about trust. I think the trust things, it happens everywhere. It's not just particularly in China or Hong Kong or Taiwan. And when it comes to the trust issue, the main thing is that Hong Kong was a British colony for 150 years. So we follow laws, and then we sort of get used to it. And that's why this gentleman, when they had a quick, easy thing, a deal with, you mentioned is, clients from Hong Kong, we kind of, like we used to it, and then we follow the laws and we follow the rules, so it makes sense to us. Taiwanese, they do the same thing too, and when it comes to China, because the legal systems is, it's only in the last 20, 30 years, and so a lot of the time, the millionaire and the billionaire, they were not millionaire nor billionaire, and then they became millionaire and billionaire in the last 10, 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden they have the money, and they don't have the law, or they're not used to following laws and rules and things like that. So when it comes to here, a contract doesn't mean anything to them. They can write a contract, and then they can say, okay, I don't feel like it. There's no contract. So it doesn't make sense here. You cannot do that. You get yourself into a lawsuit. You're going to be sued. They don't want to be sued. Nobody would like to go to a law firm, and but then they just don't used to it. Okay, and the culture, the bureaucracy. We always have to, like call them. Let's say it's like Betty. Okay, president. We call it like President Betty. Or if it is, the last name is Chen or like Wang or whatever, then you call them like President Wang. You give them the status. You make them feel good. And so they respect it. And so that's what they prefer. And when the agents, unfortunately, agents' knowledge in Asia doesn't worth anything. Okay, we always value our professionalism, our knowledge, but unfortunately, over there, it doesn't mean anything. It's a given. You cannot change the mentality, so don't bother. Okay? Okay, so, and then I've been taught many times, and most of my clients and your clients, when they come here, they sign a contract here, so it's better. So if any of you to go over there and then you have a listing, they sign a contract over there, don't sign contract over there. Have them to sign contract over here. Because like I said, the contract means nothing to them. Now, when it comes to feng shui, how many of you experience that, the Chinese say, okay, this is not good, this is not good. I'm not the feng shui master, okay? I'm not trying to teach you how to do all that. And I'm sure the feng shui master will give you, the why, the energy, and all that kind of stuff. So I cannot tell you, but from my experience, 21 years in the business and being in Chinese, I'm not really into those things. To me, what is good feng shui is I walk into a house, I feel good about it, and the energy is good to me. I feel the vibe, and that's good feng shui to me. And then if I walk in there, you can tell me the best deal in town, but if I feel the creep feeling, then I won't go for it. Now, the door to patio door things. Anybody experience that? Okay. To me, I mean, if we have Chinese in the audience, so correct me if I'm wrong. I have no problem because I'm learning this feng shui thing every day. But the feng shui things from door to the patio is like when you walk into the front door and you see the patio door right there, you don't want that. Money goes in and it goes out. So we don't like that. And then the kitchen in the center of the house. Why? The kitchen is fire. So they don't want to burn the house. So they don't like the kitchen in the middle of the house, in the center of the house. Now the beam in the middle of the bedroom. Now whoever is on my Facebook friend, I have a bunch of Facebook friends, and then I put it on the Facebook last month, and when I was showing my clients, my Chinese clients, and especially is in the bedroom, the master bedroom or any bedroom, you have the vaulted ceiling. Okay, a lot of you with the style with the vaulted ceiling, and then sometimes you have the beam. They don't like it. Especially when the bed is right underneath, you chop us into half. So they don't like it. Unless the builder is able to level it without the style, no more vaulted ceiling, that's how it is. That's how they say, the bedroom, especially the master bed, your bed or any bed for your children is not good either. So they don't like that one. Now, I'm sure a lot of you understand we don't like 4, right? 4 doesn't mean death. It just sounds like death, but it does not mean death. So the 4, and you're familiar with. How many of you knows that 10 is not good either? I learned this. Now, when it comes to working with Asians or Chinese from China, the northern part of Chinese and the southern part of China, they have different beliefs. And there are very different superstitious things. You're not going to try to understand all that because I cannot understand all that. I learn from my clients on a daily basis. And number 10, why? Because one of my clients, I took them out to look at properties, and then the combinations, not just the 10, the combinations of those numbers add together is 10. And said, no. I said, why? I said, I'm a gambler. I love casino. I said, what does it mean? Because I don't gamble. I don't know. So you guys can understand. 10 means like going back to the, like it's all go back, and it means 0. So, like whoever understands, because I'm not into gambling things, but when it comes to 10, then they don't win anything. So they do not like 10. And that is for southern part of China. Not necessarily the northern, because I talk about that to my northern part of China Chinese clients. They said, no, we don't believe in that. So sometimes you have to ask. And now, they like the 8. All of you know that they like 8 because it sounds like rich. But then they also, from China, they like 6. 6 is like carry on. And then 9 is longevity. So, all that. And then sometimes the combination was excellent. So you have to do that as well. But, like, how am I going to ask you to learn and all that? But, you just ask them. When you go out to look at properties with them, and ask them, is the house number okay to you? And you're trying to figure that out. Dead end. a dead-end street or a cul-de-sac. They don't, it depends on where it locates in the dead-end street or the cul-de-sac. We do not like it at the right, at the end of the dead end, or the cul-de-sac with that round here, the house right there. Okay, we don't like that. Now, to me, it's not a feng shui thing. To me, it's a security thing. Meaning, if a crazy driver drives down the street, drunk, they might hit your house or your front yard. And that's what I feel. But you know what, they have other meaning. When you hear a lot of these things, it becomes like they believe this is feng shui. But is it really? You know, you get a feng shui master next time. So they will give you, I hire a feng shui master at my ARIA event. And everybody found it very, very interesting. They learn a lot, but there's a lot more depth, you know, like a lot more information than that. Because when it comes to feng shui, I got clients that they, the house and the environments and all that, they have to match the children's birthdays. Every single, if you have a family of 5, so you have to match all 5 people's, you know, birthdays and whatever is good for them, the direction. Oh, I tell you, I gave up that client. I just couldn't find a house like that. And every single time I have to have somebody, okay, does that match your son, your daughter, you know, everybody in the house? Forget it. You know, I said, okay, next deal. Okay. Now, the lot sloping down. Now, I see a lot of property, they, you know, level lot is great. But if you have a lot, that's why the Asians, the Chinese, they like to slope up. Okay, especially the Taiwanese, they like it lean against, like slope up is good because it's like lean against the mountain. So there's something to lean against. But then if it is sloped down, they think that again, money going down, going away. So that's one thing that the Taiwanese especially don't like it. But in Vancouver, I'm sure in many parts of your area is that you have property. Sometimes it has to be on the lower side of the street, then you get a better, more excellent water view and ocean view and all that too, right? So when it gets to that point, you know what? They make things up. So don't worry about that. If they like it, just sell it to them. You know? And you know, seriously, when it comes to the cul-de-sac thing, I sold it to Chinese too. Because to them is that they said bad feng shui, I said okay, but you're willing to buy it if the price is right. So if it is so bad to feng shui, I won't buy it. I don't care what number I pay. You know, like it's not just because it's cheap, and you know you buy it, but that's how it works. So you know, and you can also ask them. So if it is bad feng shui, if the price is low enough, would you buy it? And they probably say yes, and then just use that as your negotiation skill if they want a Chinese buyer. And okay, washroom door directly facing the bed. Now, to me, it's just, I don't like it because the bathroom door is right in front of my bed, but to them is another feng shui thing. Okay, the mirror in front of the bed. So sometimes I have clients that, you know, my non-Chinese clients, they have, you know, either the closet sliding door right in front of the bed, and then you have mirror there, and they don't like it. And why? I don't know whether they think that, you know, in the morning when you get up, you cannot see, and all of a sudden, okay, is that myself or is that a ghost? So that kind of stuff. So will you scare yourself in the morning just because all your hair is all over the place? Who knows, you know, but we don't like it because kind of like, you know, the spirit things. This is all kind of like silly, but is it the feng shui? You know, like it all depends. And like I said, the feng shui master will get you a lot more information. Negotiation factors. Okay, the goal, the North American versus Chinese. Attitude. When we want to do the deal, we want to close it. Okay, and then sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. So when it comes to the Chinese, I don't want to talk about the contract at all right now. I want to just like you as a friend. If I cannot trust you, I will not do a deal with you. Now, a lot of the Asian clients, they would like to work with you, not me. You, not me. Why? Because we know them very well. You don't know them. You're straightforward, you're honest, and then they don't worry about telling you things because you're not going to tell their friends. Now, especially a lot of you working with very, very high net worth Chinese, and my experience is that a lot of them, When they work with you and buy a deal double-digit millions and whatever the case may be, they will not refer their friends to you. It doesn't matter how good you are. They just worry about you telling their friends their secrecy or whatever you know about it. So that's how I experience it, and I ask my clients to confirm that a lot of them, they will do it. Of course you will have some of them, they don't do it. I'm not saying that this is, a general, I'm talking about this as a general statement. But they do that when they're very, very rich. They don't want other people to know about how rich they are. So they're very, like they won't even use their own Chinese agents. They will come to you, whether as a listing agent or whether they're going to find another agent to represent them, and that happens very often. Okay, and then the personal style. Now, if you're in the Beverly Hills or in New York, you're more formal. You're all dressed well, to go and, look at properties with them. But like in Vancouver, West Coast, we're a lot more casual. Not everybody will dress up. And I have seen people, they look at, $1 million of properties and they're just having their, well, not flip-flop, not that bad, but, very, very casual. So, however, when it comes to, that is just the dressing up thing. But when it comes to negotiation part, that will be a difference. Like Chinese will probably walk into the door with very, very casual outfit, and then you cannot tell that they're billionaire. But when it comes to negotiations, they want it to be very formal. I currently experience my clients that they are the children's in Vancouver and the parents is in Hong Kong. They want every details of everything. And even though the children, the second generations, they're adult, okay, they're not 19 years old and things like that, but they're in the 20s, they're working. And actually is a referral from a Century 21 agents, a corporate. They refer it to me, so I'm working with that buyers who works in the corporate of Century 21. And what happens to him is that he cannot make any decisions. So everything has to be formal, everything has to go back to the parents. And then when it comes to communications, we're very direct, and sometimes we show our card too fast. Meaning, okay, the seller, this is the price. I don't want this anymore. Anything lower than that, we're not going to do it. So you think that, okay, this is the price. I tell you very honestly, this is the price. They don't play that game. So unfortunately, the negotiation is very long. Very, very long. I mean, it could be a month. How long could it be? Like, trying to tell me, it's like days? Any of you experience like more than a week negotiation? Yeah. How long can it be? Could it be a month? Yeah. The years part will be developing the relationship. That part is forever. Is forever. By the time you get all this relationship, and sometimes somebody else is willing to do 50% kickback, the relationship is gone. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. When it comes to when you give the Chinese, okay, this is the price, and they won't give. Obviously, we're not going to accept it. Just not us. Our DNA is to negotiate until we die. Okay, so we have to make sure you work very hard for the deal. So they always give you ambiguous. They might want it. Okay, they give you this number, and don't just. When it comes to your seller, don't give them the bottom price. Don't show your trump card. Just hold it to your heart. If you think that the bottom line is like this, jack it up 10%, 15%, and then keep going. I know it's boring and it's frustrating, but it's just the way it is. Paperless, forget it. There's no way we talk about paperless, especially. Chris tomorrow, they will tell you all the things, like paperless. I speak at Inman, Brett Inman's all into paperless. When you're working with Asians, not paperless. Everything is paper. And then you talk to them face to face. They don't like to just give them, and then you read it, and it's just not the case. So we don't like paperless. Everything is facts. It's still very much facts, and that's how it goes. And then when it comes to time sensitivity, is very, very important. We always say in our contract, time is an essence. To them, time is not an essence. So if that is the case, like I said, you have to negotiate, you have to have a lot of patience, and sometimes it makes you feel that, why do I want to work with Chinese? I've got all my clients, Caucasian Asians, North American, European, they know how to do this, they understand the language, they can read English. Why do I want to work with them? Well, that is the answers that you have to give to yourself. I cannot tell you. So, because we don't find it, like it's important. It takes forever for them to make a decision sometimes. And so emotional sense, like sometimes we like something, we buy it. Okay, and then, but for them, they will do that when they go shopping, like buying the luxury material stuff. That's what they would do. But when it comes to negotiations, and they don't have any emotions, and they just, to them, to us, it's a game. Okay, it's a game. And then if I like it, we always said one thing: if it meant to be yours, it's yours. So if it's not meant to be yours, and you won't get it. And if, all I want is just $2,000 discount. And if they don't give it to me, this house doesn't mean to be mine. That's just how some of us I experienced it just a couple of weeks ago. Same thing, $3,000 apart, they walk. And then we say, okay, no problem, go to the next one, if you want to work with them, okay? And the agreements formed, we are here very specific. And all the terms and conditions very specific. When it goes to them, and the very thing, because you have to translate it, you either have to find a translator to translate for them, or they're going to have to hire somebody to do the translations. I met people, they brought their own translator, but those translators, they're not in the real estate business, so they don't understand our terminology. Whether they really translate the right thing, we really don't know, okay? So they only have a general idea. And then when it comes to the times that I don't feel like this house, I change my heart and say, well, you already signed a binding contract. And then they will say, no, it's not a contract to me, I back out. And yeah, because they understand the general information. Risk taking. Do you agree that North American takes higher risk? Chinese don't. I love buying revenue properties. And when it comes to the risk-taking things, to me, I'm a 50% risk taker. As much as I think I am high, but I'm not. When it comes to buying properties, I do every calculation things. To us, our risk level is very low. Well, medium. And so, if they buy it as a revenue property, as a principal residence, no problem, okay? Because it's for their enjoyment. But when it comes to revenue property, and they're doing it a lot right now. And I'm hearing, anybody from Arizona here? You do it, they buy like bulk. Okay, the Chinese, they buy bulk. They don't go there, they just want to buy, 50, 60 units all together, and then they do the calculation. If you give them 6%, that's fine, excluding management, okay? So including management probably goes down to 4.5, 5, they're okay, but on paper, they want to see 6% return. And they will not, they don't come over here, they will just have somebody represent them and buy bulk of 30, 40 of them and pay all cash. And that's how they do. They only strictly work with numbers. They do not work with any emotional type. Okay, knowledge. As I mentioned earlier, knowledge in North America worth a lot. We worth a lot. But over there is free. You give them information. It's just like you go on internet. Information is free. Same idea. Knowledge is free. But you gain their trust, then they work with you. That's why you give them a lot of information, you educate them. If you can show yourself that you're different from the others, you just give and give and give. Now, take the chance that they might still go away. But, if you give them enough, then, you get one deal. And just don't do all the other things that what a lot of the Asian Chinese, they have done. Is that they would take the kids to school, they will pick them up from the airport, they will get up and take the wives to grocery shopping. I'm not into that. So for that, your decision. If you have a team of people and they're willing to do it, then you have them to do it. But I'm not willing to do it. I don't even want my team to do it. And second generations. Here, North American second generations take control. When I work with 20, 30, 40, not 40, but 20-something years old children, they take control. And when they decide they like this property, they will make the decision. I'm working with one, not at all. He loves the property, and he tells his parents in Hong Kong, I said, Mom, can I put an offer? That's how it is. It's complete control by the parents. Now, us, it's two things Asians like to control their children. Number one is money. If you have, the parents has a lot of money, money control us. My mom hates me because she cannot control me. Not that I have a lot of money, but she just cannot use money to control me. She's trying, but she ain't gonna happen. And then secondly is, besides the money part, they just like to use that. And the second part is death. I use my personal thing. I don't want to use other people's. I use my personal thing. When I tried to buy a car way back when, my mom said, you're not going to buy the car. I said, why? You buy the car, I'm going to jump off the balcony. I said, give me a break. I just want to drive. I go, no. If you buy the car, I'm going to jump off the balcony. They like to use that. And my mom, up to today, still use that. Okay? She's trying to she's trying to get me to go and then write up a will, because she's getting old. She said, okay, I'm the only child, so, obviously I have everything. But then the thing is that, okay, go to the lawyers to, set up the will and all that. She already got one. She wants to change something. I said, I'm not going. She said, why? I said, because if I do that, you're going to say that you want me to die fast because now you got everything. And I said, for that reason, I'm not going. I'm not changing anything. They like to do that. They just like to draw the attentions. They want the attentions from the children, but the death and the money thing is how they try to control us. It's just the way it is. And now this chart, can you see very well? Kind of, okay. This chart is China really a copycat country? Okay, we copycat everything. I mean, here when I see, like big Oscar functions, the next day you see the dress, a fraction, things like that. Then you can have the same style as, Versace and then Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all that. Now, in China, they copycat a lot of these social media stuff. Okay. Facebook is huge here, but Facebook is not Facebook in China. They have Ren, okay? And then they don't have YouTube. You cannot get on YouTube when you're in China. It's just banned. So they have another one called Youku, okay? It's very similar, can you tell? So Google is huge, like Google banned, like everything's right now, Google cannot reach any agreement with the China things, and so Google is now stationed in Hong Kong. So Google, when I'm going to China at the end of the month, and I check with my clients, and I say, okay, can I get on Google? I know I cannot get on YouTube. I know I cannot get on Facebook, so I cannot do any of my social media things. So I said, what can I get on? So Google, occasionally, you should be okay. That's what I've been told. Sometimes you got, interruptions, but you should be okay. And YouTube for sure is not. So there's a lot of things. They instead of Google, they have Weibo, and then so there's another, big search engines is exactly like, in North America. So those are what you see here is the North American versions versus the Asian version, and they have a lot more than you can imagine. And if you're trying to connect with them, the social media things is the second generations. No high net worth people, they don't go on social media. They don't go on computer. They have their secretary. They have their assistants to check things for them. They don't go. So in my opinion, the video means everything. Because you don't have to understand, you don't have to read how many bedroom, how many bathroom, how many whatever, because they still require reading. But if you shoot a videos of like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of your listings, they look at it, yeah, I see it, they will spend 2-3 minutes to do it. So in my opinion, the video is the key of your listing if you want to sell it to Asian. Okay. Now, I was just wondering where, if I ever show up. So I went to Google, well, not Google, so Baidu myself, okay? And then I put my name on it because I blog twice a week in China. All my social media things, I blog. So on Google, if you search top real estate agents in Vancouver, I show up on the first page. No, I don't pay per click. I don't do anything. I just constantly blog and blog and blog. So mine is very organic, and I show up on the first page. So I was just curious to find myself, and then I found out somehow I show up. But obviously, my Chinese name will show up more than my English name, because when I blog in China, I read and write Chinese, so I put everything in Chinese. Negotiation style. Now, you familiar with that red pocket? We usually see it during the Chinese New Year's, okay? During the Chinese New Year's, we use the red pocket things is good luck, okay, and all that. So, in North America, that is a lot of things is good luck, at the end of the day, okay, the things that you're good, they might give you red pocket money. I don't know how many of you receive it, but in China, it might mean under the table. So it could be everything under the table that you don't know and we don't want to know, okay? And when I work with my clients, I don't ask them, what do you do? And if they tell you they doing import and export business, leave it as that. Don't go into the details. What do you import and what do you export? Don't even try. And the money side, money things, and again, many times I said, don't ask them where the money is coming from. And somehow, if they have the money there, then you close your escrow. So don't ask where the money is coming from. The expected negotiations, you have to expect the negotiation takes a lot longer than what you think it will be in the normal situations in North America. And don't expect the Chinese to tell you the truth. Not that we don't tell you the truth. We don't tell you the truth how much we want to pay. Now, an experience is it happens to me and it does happen to other of my colleagues. When the parents come to look at the properties, high net worth, whether they come with the children or whatever case may be, and if they start to tell you, this is no good, this house is no good, this is not good, I don't like this, I don't like that, the more they tell you they don't like it, the more they like the house. So don't listen to that crap. That's how I find it, okay? The more they criticize it, they want to use that as a negotiation thing. Like to me, I have to tell my clients, I said, don't use that Chinese way because your client is Caucasian. The seller is Caucasian. Because you keep on telling how bad their house is, you will insult them and offend them. They said, don't buy my house and go away. Okay, but the Chinese, they will criticize, this is not good, this is not good, this is not good. But they actually, the more they say this is not good, the more they want to buy it. So take that as a plus. It is, and then they will come up with a checkbook. So that's the main thing. And it's just in our genes. I don't know how many of you has been, even if I see Asian faces here, I don't know how many generations you've been here, whether you're second or third generations. Like the way I was being brought up is that it's like when you have a cute baby, you say, okay, you're so cute, the baby is adorable and all that. And then in my way, when I was being brought up, no, you're so ugly. This is not good. They will do absolutely the opposite things to tell you. And if you're smart, you tell the kids, oh, you're smart, well done and all that. In Chinese way, my way is that no, you're not good enough. They always compare us, the children, to the next door children. So we always have the opposite things. We always doubt. A lot of the time we have self-doubt is because, well, am I good enough? Because your parents, that's how we're being brought up. And it's just a different culture thing. And so when it comes to the trust things, the trust and the face, you have to give them face, obviously. I'm sure all of you understand that face things. I don't think this just exclusively, with the Chinese. I deal with my European clients or Middle Eastern clients, face is a very important thing to us. I'm not saying that the North American don't value that as much, but it's just a lot more heavier in the Asian countries, So you have to give them a lot of face, and you think that they win. Okay, maybe the end of the day, it takes you longer to get to the mutual agreement at the price, but then the thing is that they think that they win, they're happy. That's the most important thing. The age and experience and the ranking and the seniority, it is very important. So the more experienced you are, it's like basically tell them that I've been in the business for like 20, 30, 40 years, okay, then they feel more comfortable to work with you. Now, if you're new to the business, just fake it until you make it. You don't have to tell them the truth if they don't tell you the truth. Well, I'm not asking you to lie. They say, well, it's my first year, getting to the second year, I'll say, I've been in the business for 2 years already. They won't know. Okay, gift giving. A lot of the time in Asia, they do in China, they give a lot of gift. It's the bribery things, I don't want to say that, but it is the way it is. And they're used to that. And then here, again, when I work with my clients, I have to take them out for dinner. Not that I want to bribe them with giving them gifts. I don't want to do that. But you do a lot of time. But if the clients, they love you, they really appreciate what you have done for them, they will give you a gift. And I had my clients sold their house. They came back from Beijing and gave me a jade, okay, a bracelet. Now, the funny part is, they don't remove the price tag. So I look at that jade, wow, it's 5 figures, renminbi, okay? And I divided Canadian dollars, it's still quite expensive. And I don't believe that. I took the jade bracelets to somebody who knows jade. Oh, maybe about $300-400. But you give them face, you don't say anything. But when I went out to have one time I went out with them for dinner. I said, how come you're not wearing it? I said, it's too big. It's gonna fall down. So I didn't wear it. But they like to give it to you with the price tag. This happened to me just a few months ago, so I think it's still going on. Okay. Okay, and then connections. Dropping the right names may facilitate your negotiations. Yes, if you say you know so-and-so, presidents of so-and-so, and the company's own head of so-and-so, it will give you more credibility. Okay, if you know of them, but you just say, they don't get it whether you know them or know of them, so it doesn't matter. They'll take the same thing. And then it's very important if you say, I'm very close with my president, or I'm very close with this, and they just feel that they like to associate with high level. That's how it works here in Asia. It's like the higher level, they don't work. Like if I would go to China, I don't want to see any of the agents. I want to see the boss. Why? Because in China, as far as I know, last time when I went there, it's like 80% of the commissions goes to the owner of the company. The agents only get 20%. So if you network with the agent in China, you don't get anything because the turnaround is really fast. And so, you want to associate, you want to make friends with the owner of the company. When I went there to our office in Shanghai, they said, why don't you, they try to recruit me to get a franchise over there because that's how they make money. Is the owner of the company makes money, not the agent. And how they work, and my clients told me that's how they work in negotiations, because in China, 1% paid by the seller, 1% paid by the buyers. So, and then so it's 2% the agents will get. And the 2% go back to the broker. They have to split 80% to the broker, and they only get 20% here. Now, the story that I heard from my clients from China, they were saying that, okay, that's how they do it. She told me. Now, I don't want to generalize it. I'm not saying everybody's doing that, but she told me it's quite a bit. So if the agents know the buyer very well, okay, so basically, they all do dual agency there, okay? There's no, here, and buyer's agents and seller's agents. So they would tell the agents, okay, let's say I'm very, very close friends with you as a buyer. You give me 1%, but then you don't give me 1%. I pretend that you don't give me at all. So I go to the sellers and said, she's not giving me. Can you give me 2%? So if the seller agreed, so she will get 2%, the agent, from the seller, and then the 1% from the buyers. And then out of that 3%, 1% in the pocket, and 2% go back and get 20% out of that. Got it? Sounds like a good plan, eh? That's what I'm saying. I ask them, and I learn every day. That's why I try to do my presentations differently every single time, because I learn every day. There's new tricks in town all the time, So, and what is the last one? I have to put my reading glass on it. How much did the Chinese want the deal? Well, like I said earlier, if it meant to be, it meant to be. If it is not mine, it's not mine. Okay, negotiation tips. Identify who the decision maker is. Sometimes it's very different. Hong Kong, Taiwan, China. You don't know wife is the decision maker or the husband's decision maker. You just have to try to observe. And the husband, sometimes they don't say anything. As long as they're happy wives, it's good. Happy wife, happy life. And then they only get to the point that they will negotiate with you big time when it comes to money. And the thing is, a lot of the time, the wife comes here and look at that property and they fall in love, they want to write an offer, the husband never seen it, the husband will just only cut the price 1/3 to start the negotiations. And you have to control your emotions, your frustrations, you have to control it. And there's no deadline, so there's no time is an essence things. And then don't try to disagree with them, okay? Just say, really, okay, I agree with you, but could you try this, just to give them face and carefully explain your negotiations. Now here, that's another thing, that I am a real estate professional. It's like, I do the last three. I do a lot of divorce counseling and couple counselings, and I do counseling a lot. Sometimes I wonder if I have a side business as being a counselor. So I do that a lot. Accountants, I do, because I love investment, I do a lot of investment myself, so I have to do the financial things. I become like the financial advisor. Therapist, yes, sometimes, but I'm not going to walk the dog. I'm not going to, carry your bag, and I'm not going to be your babysitter. So try to, hold yourself really firm. They respect you. Once they can feel that they can walk all over you, and they will. They will. So try not to allow them to do that. So that is the end of my presentations. Right